It is Tuesday morning and you are already behind. The incident from Sunday night is not fully resolved. You have a board call in 3 hours and your lead engineer just pinged you asking for a one-to-one. You know what that one-to-one is about. I have been building software for over a decade. I have been a CTO at 2 companies. I have sat in the chair that looks glamorous from the outside and feels like a controlled disaster from the inside. And one thing I have noticed is that nobody talks honestly about what the bad weeks actually look like. Not the Twitter threads about leadership philosophy. Not the conference talks. The real ones. The weeks where everything breaks at once and you are the person who has to hold it together, make the calls, and not let the team see you sweat. This video is about those weeks. 7 specific things that hit you all at once. If you are already in a leadership role, this will feel uncomfortably familiar. If you are heading toward one, consider this your honest briefing. Nobody gave me one. I am giving you one. Let's start with the obvious one, because it is never just an incident. It starts as a pager duty alert at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. Your on-call engineer picks it up. You see the Slack ping. You tell yourself they have it. By 3 a.m., you are in the incident channel anyway, because the error rate is climbing and 3 enterprise customers are affected. By Monday morning, you have had 4 hours of sleep and you are writing the internal post-mortem draft before your team has finished the rollback. Here is what nobody tells you about production incidents at the CTO level. The actual technical problem is the easy part. What drains you is the cascade. You are triaging with the engineers, translating severity for the VP of sales who is getting hammered by customer emails, managing the customer success team who want to know what to say, and deciding whether this crosses the threshold for a public status page update. You are a router. Every piece of information in the organization passes through you, and you have to decide what it means, who needs it, and what action it requires. All of that is happening on no sleep, before your regular Monday meetings even start. The incident might be resolved in 6 hours. The week it creates is never over in 6 hours. Here is something that will never stop feeling surreal. You can be in the middle of a genuine engineering crisis and still have to walk into a board meeting and present with confidence, because your board does not want to see you rattled. They want to see someone who understands the problem, has a plan, and is not going to burn the company down. The board meeting was scheduled 6 weeks ago. The incident was scheduled by nobody. Now, you are sitting in a Zoom room with 4 investors, pulling up a roadmap slide, while part of your brain is still processing last night's RCA. What this teaches you, eventually, is that the board does not need to know everything in real time. They need to know that the person running engineering has it. So you learn to separate. You acknowledge the incident clearly, name the impact, explain what changed and why it will not happen again. No hiding it, but you deliver it calmly, with data, and move on. The skill is not pretending things are fine. The skill is demonstrating that you can hold complexity without dropping it. And then, right in the middle of all of that, someone quits. It is almost always someone you cannot afford to lose. Never the person who has been quietly coasting for 8 months. It is your principal engineer. The one who knows where all the bodies are buried in the code base. The one 3 other engineers look to for technical direction. They send the calendar invite on Monday afternoon. You already know what it is. You sit down. They tell you they have accepted an offer somewhere else. You feel 3 things simultaneously. Genuine human congratulations because you like them. Cold dread because of the knowledge transfer gap they are about to leave. And the immediate mental calculation of what this does to the Q3 roadmap. What nobody prepares you for is the loneliness of that moment. You cannot be fully honest about the impact because it is not their problem anymore. You have to be gracious, professional, and supportive. And then the moment they leave, you close the door and sit with the real weight of it, alone. Because that is your job. Number 4, and this one builds slowly until it explodes. You open the requisition for a senior back-end engineer in January. It is now April. 47 applications, 12 screened, 6 technical interviews. 3 made it to final stage. 2 rejected your offer. 1 accepted and then reneged 3 days before start date. Back to 0. The team is stretched. The engineers who are there are picking up the slack and starting to show it. And the recruiting agency you engaged in February has sent you 15 CVs, 2 of which were remotely relevant. Hiring at the senior level is a compounding crisis. Every week, the role stays unfilled. Your existing team absorbs more pressure. That pressure increases attrition risk, which means the cost of not hiring is actively creating more hiring problems. As a CTO, you are supposed to be thinking about architecture and technical strategy. Instead, you spend 3 hours on a Thursday afternoon reviewing a take-home submission from a candidate who disappears the next morning. Nobody tells you that recruiting is one of the most punishing and inefficient parts of the job. It just becomes your reality. This next one is quieter, but it grinds you down across months. You have been carrying a technical debt conversation with the leadership team for a long time. The authentication service hacked together in 2021 and never properly refactored. The monolith, everyone agrees needs breaking up, but nobody allocates time to address. The Kubernetes cluster configured in a way that makes your infrastructure engineer visibly uncomfortable. Every time you try to carve out sprint capacity to address it, the product roadmap lands on top of it. So, you are in this cycle where the debt accumulates, slows the team down, contributes to the incident rate, and still loses the prioritization conversation every quarter. What makes this exhausting is that it is not a technical problem. You know the technical solution. It is a political and resource problem. And the CTO is the only person who fully understands both the technical severity and the business trade-off. You are the translator, and nobody is quite speaking your language. Moving on. And this one took me a long time to admit. Your engineers still need you on their worst days, even when those days coincide with your worst week. A 1-1 is not just a check-in. For a lot of people on your team, it is the primary space where they feel heard, where they process frustrations, where they get unblocked. If you show up distracted, checking Slack under the table, giving half answers, they feel it. They might not say anything, but they feel it. On the week from hell, you have 12 of these in the calendar, and you are emotionally bankrupt by Wednesday. What you learn, slowly and painfully, is that presence is a finite resource, and you have to manage it like one. Some 1-1s you can shorten. Some you can reschedule with genuine explanation, but some you cannot touch. Those are the ones where you close the laptop, put the phone face down, and actually be there. Because leadership is not just what you do when things are going well. It is whether people still feel safe when they look at you during a storm. And finally, the last one. The one that catches most people off guard. Technical leadership is lonely in a way that is structurally built into the role. When you were a senior engineer, you had peers. People you could vent to about the sprint process, the decision that came down from above, the architecture you disagreed with. You had a release valve. As a CTO, you do not have that release valve inside the company. You cannot complain about the board to your team. You cannot be fully transparent about the business risk you are managing when it would cause panic. You cannot show every crack because your job is partly to be the steady thing people hold on to. So where does it go? Nowhere, a lot of the time. The decisions nobody else will make. The information you carry alone. The nights where you are running incident response in one window and rewriting the hiring plan in another and wondering whether any of this is going in the right direction. The people I know who thrive in this role are the ones who found somewhere safe to put it down. A peer network, a coach, a co-founder they actually trust. That outlet is not optional. It is the job. Here is the real takeaway. The CTO's week from hell is not exceptional. It is the job, surfaced in concentrated form. Production incidents, board optics, hiring grind, technical debt politics, emotional labor, and the weight of making decisions where nobody else fully understands what you are holding. The people who last in this role are not the ones who never crack. They are the ones who build systems around themselves the same way they build systems at work. Redundancy, failover, honest feedback loops, and people they can call at 11 p.m. who actually get it. If you are in this role, you already know most of this. I just wanted you to know somebody said it out loud. If this hit closer to home than you were expecting, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you want more of this. I will be here.